I'm being gospel truth here. I'm going all the way through Act 1.
Yes.
I'm thinking to myself, what are people complaining about? This is
a really
perfect,
good...
classic, textbook classic Disney. This is fantastic. What the fuck? And then we get to Act 2.
Oh my God.
And I shit you not, the film does this. It gets up and it turns over towards it. Listen, whatever is said from this point forward, I just want it clear. Gal Gadot, I want to shit out of Gal Gadot.
All right, same. Welcome to Two Gaming Dudes. We are, of course, talking about
Snow White. Here we go. Okay, we went yesterday. We checked it out.
We just watched Snow White.
You know, it's not garbage. I have to process a little bit still. It's not a good movie.
No.
At all. Okay.
No.
But it's not garbage. And
When I sat down, we started watching it. The first song I thought was kind of meh, but it picked up, and I was like, "This isn't bad. I don't hate this."
yeah. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Okay.
Now, all right, so
Okay.
You saw initial reactions. We both had a little bit of time to process.
It was not total shit. It was not total shit. I will give it a solid C-.
Okay.
What I'll say, please hear me all the way out. Click subscribe and hear me out, because this is...
And keep in mind, we're the ones that jumped on
Yeah, I know.
so many times to
I
talk
know.
about how trash this was going to be. So, let's get into it.
All we can do is judge it just on the film itself. We'll get to the political stuff and the DEI and all that, just on the movie itself.
And I might not even go there, necessarily. I'm really just thinking about the movie.
I'll sum it up mostly like this. Disappointing because it could have been magnificent.
This is a common theme for Disney, to give us something that has a lot of potential and then just crap the bed halfway through and never recover.
What were our expectations, not just ours, what was everybody's expectations going into this film?
All right, everybody expected Rachel Zegler would be the worst thing about this whole movie, that it would be all girl boss and it would just like modernize the hell out of it.
Unwatchable. We got in there and the movie starts.
By the way, the theater was about a third.
Yeah.
full,
Yeah. So it's a small 103-seat theater. There were 38 tickets sold.
Okay, so just to give you an idea.
And we were two of them. Okay.
Yeah.
It starts, and within 2-3 minutes, like literally 2 minutes in, I turn to Charles and say, "This isn't bad."
All right. I had a slightly different, because I didn't really like the first song. I thought the first song was really generic, and I saw the costumes, and I was like, okay, this looks weird and fake and phony, and I don't know. I wasn't crazy about it.
5 minutes into it, I'm like, there's nothing bad here so far.
No, because by then we hit the second song, and Zegler's like belting out these notes, and I'm like, I don't hate this song. I don't even hate this scene. I don't mind this.
And then
like, oh my God, we're going to have to go on the air and tell everybody that we like the stupid Snow White movie.
10-15 minutes into it. This is how slow the progression.
Right.
15 minutes, I'm like, this is actually really, really good.
Oh.
Something must happen in the next minute here to derail it. And it doesn't. You get all the way through Act 1. I'm being gospel truth here. I'm going all the way through Act 1.
Yes.
I'm thinking to myself, what are people complaining about? This is
a really
perfect,
good,
classic, textbook classic Disney. This is fantastic. What the fuck? And then we get to Act 2.
Oh my God.
And I shit you not, the film does this. It gets up and it turns over towards it and it goes. And it falls off a fucking cliff and it never comes back.
It never recovers from it.
I don't understand what happened. I don't understand. You had it perfect. You were knocking it out up until there. It felt that fast. That's how fast it happened.
It really looks like skydiving. It's
How is
like
this possible?
leaping. I've never seen a film turn so fast. And at that point, you're like, oh, so is this from now on going to be like hills and valleys where it's going to go bouncing up and down? No. It goes diving off a cliff and then flounders like a dead fish down there for the rest of the film.
I will say they tried really hard to reel it back and bring it back, and in the last 10 minutes, kind of pulled up to the upslope, but it never got back. And that's the only reason it's a C+ and not an F-. Because it started off magnificent.
I thought the ending...
And they tried to save it. Oh, God, what have you done?
All right, let me give you a quick breakdown, all right? Because you've seen the cartoon, I'm assuming, or at least familiar with it enough. So you have two different versions of Snow White. You have the Grimm's fairy tale version of Snow White, and then you have the Disney version.
The 1937.
The 1937 Disney version, which are very different stories, and they're both excellent in their own way. This takes a little bit of each, and then has this weird third element brought in. And they don't connect. Yeah. So it really does feel like you're watching a different movie. It's like you're changing the channel throughout the film. So much so that in several scenes, she's not even the same person anymore.
Yeah.
Like her whole personality changes. All the way up to the point where the huntsman chases her through the scary woods. And you're going through the scary enchanted woods.
Which looked magnificent.
I thought it looked really cool. It's a little CGI heavy, but it's kind of cool. I didn't mind it. And then she ends up in the dwarves' place, and then the dwarves show up. And oh my God, the dwarves, they are...
We'll talk about them in detail later on.
Okay. Just let me feel. After you meet the dwarves, and the dwarves do all their happy singing, and then she makes them all clean their damn house. And she doesn't pick up a broom, by the way. She's just like, clean your damn shit yourself, and then... When they're done, then she leaves. She leaves the dwarves and encounters the 7 bandits. If you saw the early release photos, the ones that everybody was pissed off, and they're like, who the hell are these 7 people? That's not your 7 dwarves.
Yeah.
I thought they'd been cut from the film. They're not. They're in it. And you go from Enchanted Forest to a real forest, and
it breaks it. Yeah.
I'm like, where are we now? We're in a different country. It's not like...
My first thought, because the forest, you see the Enchanted Forest, and the castle, all of it, it looks like a painting, like a live action. Yeah, you can tell it's live action.
It's fairy tale. You really feel like she's existing in a fairy tale in a book.
And then they film... I'm like, my first thought was, is that where they filmed Lost in Space? Because it looked exactly the same. It's just people in a forest wearing weird costumes filmed with an iPhone.
And you're just certain if you just turn the camera this way, there'd be houses and like the freeways behind you.
It just goes off a cliff.
It's so bad. The dude sings this song called Princess Problems, which is, I mean, it'll make your toes curl. It's so cringy.
He's one of 2 bad performances in the entire film.
Yeah.
Him and Gal Gadot.
Awful. Poor Gal Gadot.
Everybody else was great. She's just the shittiest actress. We've always known she was, even from Wonder Woman, we knew she just gives these line deliveries like, oh, why'd they let her go?
Why'd you go with that
Why didn't you say, give me one more, let's try it a little... She does that throughout the whole thing. They turn her into this joke, and somewhere in Act 2, like 3 minutes of screen time after she orders the murder of her teenage stepdaughter, 3 minutes later, she's doing a song and dance in cabaret. They turn her into this ridiculous clown from this horrible, threatening figure. Like, oh, whoa, what a menacing villain. To this ass clown. All of it screams to nightmare production, pre-production hell.
Yeah.
Literally years of delays and reshoots and rewrites. And what are we going to do with the dwarfs? And what are we going to do with this It was all there, this scrambled mess. You have the perfection of Act 1, and then all that shit that you heard about condensed into Act 2 and Act 3, where it all comes apart.
Now, you didn't mind the ending. I thought the ending was incredibly anticlimactic and just a horrible letdown.
I'll tell you why I disagree.
All right. I mean, not that I was expecting her to kung fu fight or anything goofy like that.
There is a Marvel-style Avengers karate fight, by the way. That is so out of place, it destroys it.
So awful.
What were we afraid of? With her stupid comments, had she never made those ridiculous comments on that media tour,
right,
half of their problems would be gone. Remember what she said? How is this different from the original?
I just mean that it's no longer 1937, and we absolutely wrote a Snow White that
she's not going to be saved by the prince.
She's not going to be saved by the prince, and she's not going to be dreaming about true love. She's dreaming about becoming the leader she knows she can be.
And that made everybody immediately think, oh no, they're going to do that to it. They're going to make her Miss Marvel.
Yeah. Yeah.
They're going to make her
in the
Kamala with the magic gauntlets. They're going to do something. They're going to make her Ironheart. Fuck, please don't do that. They don't do that at all.
No, they don't.
The DEI stuff is handled really, really well. She never should have said that. She never should have said that because they didn't do that. The DEI stuff is handled beautifully. You see this town square of 100 people, and it looks like the United States.
Yeah,
There's 100 people. There's 50 or so regular shitty white people.
You can take it or leave it however you want. I mean, yeah, when you look at the town square, and
But
it really
it
does
looked
look
like
like it looks like
real.
downtown Los Angeles. But I mean,
There's
it's
50
fine,
white people, and there's a dozen different flavors of Asian, and there's 20 or 30 black people. It looks like the real world.
It does.
And they don't
But
Chuck, they don't
point
grandstand
at
any of it.
They don't point at it. They don't grandstand it. You are right there.
It's just, this is what the world looks like.
Right, and you're not expecting this to be like Tolkien level fantasy or any of that, or what do you call it, Game of Thrones level fantasy. That's not that kind of movie. It's a kid's fantasy, so it's fine.
But
I don't mind it. I didn't mind any of that.
She does become the strong female leader in a natural way. She shows the dwarfs what it is to have family, to be loving and nurturing, right?
Yes,
that is not a feminine weakness.
No, and also that whole thing was a last-minute reshoot.
It might have been.
Because none of that was supposed to be there. When she meets the
guess so.
bandits, you realize that's where it was supposed to go. She runs away from the huntsman and encounters these
Encounters
7
maybe.
bandits,
Yeah.
not the 7 dwarves. That's why it's so awkward.
Yeah. But she saves the day not by karate fighting or laser fighting the Magic Queen.
No.
By becoming the leader and showing, alone we were miserable and vulnerable. Together we can do this. And she inspires everyone. That is her leadership. That is her strength. That's what makes her a strong, powerful woman.
I agree.
It was beautiful.
I still feel like they could have leaned into that a little heavier than what they
Yeah,
did.
but they didn't. They weren't expecting
It was
to.
kind of weak. And then the end of the Queen didn't really make much sense. You needed something in the beginning to kind of foreshadow what was going to happen to the Queen, that
Okay.
this jealousy and envy was going to be her downfall. And you just needed something. It just comes out of nowhere.
Okay.
So
I guess.
it didn't do it for me. I felt like it could have been something a lot bigger and better than what we actually got. But
Well, I gave it a C minus.
okay.
It was fine the way that. Okay. Let's get to the dwarfs now because
They really are the things that will keep Cthulhu up at night. They're the
because of the production chaos, we're never going to know the truth. What was the original idea? What was you look at the production staff, the writer and director here,
right.
Mark Webb. He did some of the early the Andrew Garfield Spider-Mans. Mm-hmm. That's not the right choice for this.
No.
This is not an. That's why you put that stupid Marvel.
That's why the Marvel fight scene is
scene?
in there.
So
Yeah,
stu-
It's
and-
really bad.
The writer, Erin Wilson. The only thing of note is she wrote The Girl on the Train, which is a psychological thriller. Excellent, but that's not what this. This is not the right staff for this film. Why did you do that?
One of the reviewing magazines, whatever, but clearly one of them that got invited to it and was probably paid quite handsomely to record such a beautiful, glowing review, made mention that the dwarves were supposed to have been it the whole time. That was the plan. And then almost immediately after had to take that out of their review. I mean, not before a lot of people screenshotted it.
Yeah.
But I can prove that it wasn't from every scene that the bandits are in and how her attitude is. She's two totally different people. And you know the one with the attitude, that was the first one. And then the ending. The dwarves are there.
And they done
but
nothing.
They do nothing.
They literally happen to show up and they wave to her at the end of the fight.
And she doesn't even wave
From
back
across.
at them. Like,
Hey, dwarfs, I forgot you guys.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a moment where they're like sneaking in through a tunnel, and I was like, ooh, this could be something really cool. I wonder if they'll take advantage of the fact that the dwarves have all these riches and gems that they've been mining for years. Or
All right, before we get to the dwarves.
Nothing.
Because I have an important point to make about the dwarves. The things that I liked about this, it started off looking... it's a musical. There's a little bit of some of the old songs and some new songs that were written just for this, and they're fine, whatever. It sounds much like Wicked. It should. Musically, sonically, perfection.
Yeah.
It should.
Yeah, yes. So the music scenes were...
It would be unforgivable. These are Broadway caliber actors coupled with some of the best technicians in Hollywood. It better sound fucking perfect. The visuals, at least in Act 1, stunning, gorgeous, magical, I'd say. It looks magical. I felt, smiling like you need it, I felt like a little kid. It was perfectly done until it fell off a cliff. I wish they'd continued that. What the magic they captured in Act 1, they should have continued that. Rachel Zegler. This should have been a star-making performance for her because she's excellent. She is fucking excellent. So much so that every frame of this movie that she's not in, at best, is ho-hum. At worst, is fucking unwatchable. Yes. She's that good. She's the only glue that holds this thing together. And Charles pointed out the irony of all that.
Yeah.
Because we thought...
Everybody thought she was going to be the worst part of this whole thing.
Right. And it was the exact opposite. She's the best part.
Is the best part.
Shines beautifully. She's wonderful.
And I do agree that this should have been her big breakout.
This should have done it for
This
her.
should have been the movie that's like, now every studio wants Rachel Zegler to be in their next movie. That is not...
Okay, so Gal Gadot sucks.
That's not what happened, but...
Gal Gadot sucks. We've already touched. John sucks. What was the most touching part? What was the most emotionally sincere part?
Of the movie?
Of this entire film.
The whole movie?
Yeah.
The crappy CGI Dopey character.
Her relationship with Dopey.
Yeah.
It's beautiful. Sincerely, like, wow, what a nice, lovely, touching little subplot they had. Beautifully done. Very well done.
Again...
But Dopey's a cartoon.
Part of the reshoots, so yeah.
Maybe. Well, that's the thing, because there was so much chaos in the production and reshoots and rewrite. We don't know what the plan was and what's a reaction to the reaction.
Right,
and what was a reaction to people complain. We'll never know the truth. It's so confused now. That's okay.
And I don't think it's because they're even keeping it a secret. I don't think they know anymore. Like, the people who made this film, if you ask them, what's a reshoot? I don't know. We've been at this for 5 years. I honestly don't. I couldn't tell you.
Well, okay, so... The dwarfs.
Uh-huh.
I don't know what the original plan was. I know that there was a bit of a fight because Hornswoggle, his real name is Dylan Posty. You know him as Hornswoggle in the WWF. He's a dwarf wrestler.
Oh, okay.
And he was the first to complain. I don't know if he was first or if Peter Dinklage complained first.
Dinklage complained the loudest.
He complained the loudest.
Sure.
He was like,
but I don't know if he was first.
Continuing this negative stereotype of casting us as dwarfs. And then Hogswaddle was like, hold on, asshole. There are hundreds of little people actors who depend on roles like this. And just because you got Game of Thrones and you don't give a shit anymore, the rest of us still fucking do.
Yeah.
And then there was talk, well, we're going to cast them with regular life, full-size actors. No, we're going to animate them. No, we're going to cast real dwarfs. I don't know what the plan was. All I know is this. With makeup... And a little special effects, you could have made real-life little people actors look like the dwarves.
Absolutely.
Instead, you animated them.
Yeah.
Which, to me, is the most fucking dehumanizing thing you could have done. Because the only other CGI life forms are the animals that live in the forest. Every other humanoid actor is played by a live actor.
In fact, you actually have a little person actor, one...
In that group of 7.
In the group of 7. And at one point, he's like with the dwarves, and I'm like, I am so confused as to what I am looking at right now.
I don't want to put words in Dylan Posty's mouth.
Uh-huh.
In Hogswoggle. I think what he was trying to say was, look, you're so big on DEI and doing all... How about DEIing in our fucking favor for once? No one ever says shit about it. What the fuck? What about us?
Yeah.
If that's not what he was saying, I apologize. But if it is what he was saying... You completely got this wrong.
Yeah.
And if you think that taking a little person actor and putting him in a role where it's appropriate, if you think that's dehumanizing or insulting, you have the fucking problem.
Yeah.
Because we live in a real world where people are dwarfs. It's not insulting. This is the reality. This is how they are. This is how they're born. It's okay.
Yeah.
You have the problem, not us.
Plus, you'd be giving him a role as one of the most beloved characters of all time.
What have you done?
Most of them are quite intelligent, quite capable. They're wonderful characters. Children love these characters. You didn't want real people to play that? I mean,
Hornswoggle could have been doing conventions for years now after this.
Oh, yeah.
And 6 other actors who could have built their career off this.
This could have been 7 little people actors that children go running up to with love, saying, "Oh my gosh, you're
Adults
happy."
too.
That's true. I mean,
If I saw the actor that played Dopey at a convention, I'd be like, dude, your moment with Rachel, that was some of the best acting I've seen. Why didn't you do that? Mm-hmm. I don't know what the real motivation behind it was. I hope it's not for the wrong reasons. I hope it was like, we need to make them look like the cartoons. Why? I don't know.
I don't know. Nothing else does. I mean, it's fine.
Well, that's not true. There were some beautiful throwbacks. I haven't seen the original since I was a child. But the moments that are iconic, the Queen looks like the Queen.
The Queen looks
when she becomes the evil
brilliant.
hag, she looks like the evil hag. The apple looks like the apple. The mirror looks like the... They made it clear that, yes, this is an homage. And that part was very well done.
Yep.
Very good classic Disney stuff. But then other stuff just came apart, man. And it's so disappointing because all the elements were there. For a short time, whenever Act 1 was filmed, you would assemble it. You would put it together. You nailed it. It was beautiful.
Yeah.
Why didn't you just continue that?
Because I don't think that was the plan. I don't think that, like, much of Act 1, with a few exceptions, I don't think much of Act 1 was the plan. That's all new. There was something else that was there before then.
Up until she goes to the Enchanted Forest and finds the dwarf hut. Was there ever a point in that first 30 minutes where you were bored?
No. Act 1 I thought was great. The pacing
was
good.
outstanding. It was, okay, next part of the story. And then she meets, okay, cool, next part of the story. They never drag it. You never get bored. It moves. You're like, oh, no wonder it's only an hour and a half. They tell the story in a good way. You never get a chance to get bored.
By the time they reach the bandits, you were like, oh, God, where's my phone? I want to play World of Tanks so bad.
Oh my God.
And I was like, I don't know if I can stay awake for the rest of this. I'm going to try, but man, this is hard. This is hard to get through.
It was, you could have done something outstanding with this. You really could have, and you blew it, man.
You blew it bad.
You blew it so bad. So bad. That the above the line was $270 million. So probably close to 600 mil in all. It made $12 million, Charles.
Oh, man.
I mean, it's an astronomical loss on a movie
It is an astronomical loss on a movie that's...
It's not,
I mean...
It's not that bad that it deserves to tank that bad.
No, but
the sadness
at the
is
same time...
what could have been. What could have been. This really could have been magnificent, and you guys fucked it up so bad. So bad. And Rachel, she's so good. She's such a good actress. She emotes so okay, she's a great singer or whatever, but her performance is so sincere.
It's really, really good.
Fuck,
it's too
why
bad
did you guys do this?
It's too bad she as a person is just like the worst. So from now on,
Is she?
you know,
I don't know.
if you bring her on, well, she is. She's
All
pretty-
I've heard
but-
is that one stupid interview.
No, she's like a dozen.
Yeah.
Their one is worse than the other.
Well.
So bring her in your movie, and then just make sure whatever interviews she goes on, they're scripted and controlled. Like you would with Tom Cruise. You can't let Tom Cruise just talk.
He's going to jump on the couch
He's
like
going
an
to jump on the
idiot.
couch like an idiot, and he's going to talk about Scientology. So you're just like, you know what? Stick to the script, and you'll be fine. Someone with a big long hook that'll just grab him and yank him away from the camera.
It's such a disappointment. So sad. What a fucking missed opportunity.
Very much so.
What a missed opportunity. This never used to... Disney, when we were... I mean, you could guarantee every time... Everything they did was going to be home run. Every time. No detail was left to chance. Every fucking minuscule tiny little thing was tweaked perfectly. They were so good at this.
I could say the same for a few, though. I mean, I could say that for Disney. I could say that for Pixar. Before Disney got involved with Pixar even, but then afterwards for a while, Pixar would hit it
You're right.
beautifully every single time. And then something went wrong. And they have yet to actually recover from this.
Yeah. I don't know that you can. You've done so much damage.
I don't know. Between this and their use of Marvel and their use of Star Wars and it's like their use of Pixar, everything that they're doing, you go in with extreme skepticism.
Yeah.
And 9 times out of 10, it's justified.
I mean, everybody, other than those two performances,
Yeah.
everybody was great. The other... whoever voiced the dwarfs, they were great.
They were fine, yeah.
Whoever
I liked them.
the townspeople, the
Sure.
The guard, the palace guard,
You're fine.
the huntsman. Everybody was really, really great. Other than
The Seven Bandits. You didn't really know them. They had like half a second of screen time.
except the actual dwarf bandit, who was like a feature play, had some speaking parts, and he was. This guy's great.
Yeah, just so
Bravo.
that he could set up for one scene where he shoots a crossbow, and you're like, oh,
He couldn't have played Grumpy
All right.
with some makeup?
Oh, he absolutely could have. That absolutely could have been Grumpy. But again, this is what you get. This is what we get.
It's just a missed opportunity. It's too bad.
I want us in the comments to talk about other missed opportunities from Disney, because I feel like there's so many, but I know there are some that really stand out as just, that could have been great, and then, whew, like, for me, Kenobi is a strong one for me, one that I thought should have been an amazing home run. That should have been easy.
That should have been a gimme.
Yeah.
That's an easy.
That was an easy win, and they blew it somehow. So, what else has been such great potential, and they just absolutely crapped the bed? I want to know. Leave some comments down below. Don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe. Do all those things. God, I hope we get to see a good movie sometime this year. I'd love to see a good one.
Lilo and Stitch, maybe?
I hope Lilo and Stitch is good. I feel like before that, though, we're going to have to struggle through the Thunderbolts.
You struggle through that. I mean, not even when it's on Disney Plus. I don't give a shit.
We'll see you in another episode. Later.